In a shocking turn of events, a husband discovers his wife's infidelity during their anniversary celebration, leading to a cascade of consequences that include an STD and an unexpected pregnancy. In the wake of this betrayal, he orchestrates a calculated act of retribution. Her lipstick caught my eye first, a vivid red shimmering beneath the chandeliers. Lauren Mitchell had never embraced such boldness before, but recently she made the choice to showcase her true self. We gathered in my parents' expansive dining room for our 10th wedding anniversary dinner, enveloped by the warmth of our families. Her mother sat beside Lauren Mitchell, her shoulders rigid, eyes sweeping the surroundings as though on the lookout for any mistake I might commit. My mother tended to the roast with great care, while the rest of my relatives engaged in polite conversation. The atmosphere was thick with tension. "Leave the napkins as they are," Lauren Mitchell commanded, rearranging them to suit her artistic vision. I endeavored to ensure that everything was flawless, my smile a reluctant mask. "It already is perfect, Lauren Mitchell," I murmured, reluctant to spark a disagreement before we even settled into our seats. She exhaled sharply, her eyes rolling in a manner that suggested I was oblivious to the reality that perfection was an illusion. This dinner was conceived in her mind, or so I had believed. "A grand family gathering is essential for our celebration," she had insisted, casting her mother a knowing smile. I had an inkling that they were concocting something, yet I could never have fathomed the extent to which it would unfold. Her mother, Karen Brooks, sported a self-satisfied smirk as she leisurely sipped her wine. "You know, Lauren Mitchell," she declared, her voice carrying across the room, "sometimes you have to shake things up to keep marriage interesting. Do not allow him to confine you within the bars of a cage." I tensed up. That was Karen Brooks's familiar suggestion, that I was a domineering husband, a despot who imprisoned her beloved daughter. "I don't confine her to a cage," I insisted, managing to chuckle despite the weight of my words. "She arrives and departs at her own whim." Lauren Mitchell's sister, Megan Price, wore a sly smile reminiscent of a feline's delight. "Is that the reason you both haven't decided to have another child yet? Is it that she's preoccupied with her own life? Or perhaps you find yourself too engrossed in yours?" A cruel twist, especially since we had but a single child, our beloved daughter, Lily Brooks. I held back my response, stealing a glance at my father, who methodically sliced his steak, feigning indifference to the tension in the air. He despised drama and seldom voiced his objections to Karen Brooks's sharp remarks, believing it wiser to avoid stirring the pot. The meal unfolded in a series of halting moments. Forks clinked softly, punctuated by bursts of laughter that felt somewhat strained, yet the undercurrent of tension lingered, refusing to dissipate. In a fleeting instant, Lauren Mitchell and Karen Brooks shared a knowing nod, as though they had silently agreed that this was the ideal moment to unleash chaos. As the chocolate cake made its grand entrance, Lauren Mitchell rose to her feet, glass poised elegantly in her hand. "I wish to share an important announcement." She cast a fleeting look in my direction, her crimson lips forming a chilling smile. "I trust that you will all stand by my choice." My mother placed the cake knife on the table, her brow knitted in thought. "Which decision, my dear?" Lauren Mitchell tilted her head, radiating an air of superiority. "I have come to a profound realization. For years I've sensed a suffocating weight, a lack of recognition. James Walker?" She waved her hand in my direction, her contempt unmistakable. "He falls short of meeting my emotional needs and beyond." My jaw quivered, yet I remained mute. Her penchant for theatrics was well known, yet revealing marital troubles during an anniversary dinner, surrounded by both families, marked an unprecedented low. Silence enveloped the table, a profound stillness that spoke volumes. Karen Brooks's self-satisfied expression lit up, as if she reveled in her daughter's boldness. Lauren Mitchell raised her chin with determination. "I have come to the conclusion that an open marriage is what I desire. I desire to explore connections with other men. I'm not ending our marriage, James Walker, but I crave the liberty to discover new horizons." She lingered in silence, allowing the weight of disbelief to envelop the space. "Your debt to me is a reflection of the neglect I have suffered." My mother's eyes grew wide with terror. My father struggled to swallow his drink. Karen Brooks extended her hand, gently patting Lauren Mitchell's arm. "Indeed, my dear, that is quite courageous of you," she exclaimed with emphasis. "Do not allow him to stand in the way of your joy." A warm flush crept across my cheeks, Have you lost your mind? I muttered, struggling to maintain my composure. Is this truly how you choose to commemorate our anniversary? Are you suggesting to our families that you desire the company of other men? She shrugged, her expression devoid of regret. I lingered in anticipation, hoping you would provide what I sought. I attempted to convey my message with nuance, James Walker, yet it seems you remained oblivious. Here we stand, unveiling the truth before us. At the very least, you can no longer overlook my presence. Karen Brooks clicked her tongue in disapproval. It seems he consistently overlooks your presence. I mentioned this before, Lauren Mitchell. At long last, my mother discovered her voice. Lauren Mitchell, darling, is this truly an open marriage? That is indeed a deeply personal issue. Do you truly wish to bring this up in front of the entire group? Lauren Mitchell cast her a scornful look. I'm weary of hidden truths. If I remain silent about my truth, the world will remain oblivious to his true nature. His sole focus lies in his work, the accumulation of wealth, and the preservation of his esteemed reputation. He fails to gaze upon me as I truly merit. I resisted the overwhelming impulse to upend the table. Do you really believe that sharing your bed with other men will resolve this issue? I let out a sharp hiss. Karen Brooks gestured with a wave of her hand. Silence, James Walker. You have only yourself to blame for this. If you had truly listened to her, she wouldn't be seeking affection in other places. My father cleared his throat, a subtle prelude to the words that were about to follow. This is neither the time nor the place, he said softly, attempting to ease the palpable tension. Yet Lauren Mitchell would not be muted. I have moved on from the outdated conventions. I want an open relationship, she repeated, her voice devoid of warmth. If it doesn't resonate with you, perhaps it's time to consider moving on. I tightened my grip, my fists balling up in determination. Perhaps I shall. Megan Price, her sister, savored her wine, her eyes sparkling with a wicked delight. This dinner has taken a captivating turn. My mother cast a desperate glance my way, silently imploring me to find my composure. Yet, I had reached my limit. Lauren Mitchell was exposing me to ridicule in front of the crowd, revealing her intentions to commodify herself. Indeed, that was the acrid thought racing through my mind, as if it anticipated my mere nod and smile. Are you proud of yourself? I inquired, rising abruptly, the chair scraping against the floor. A scene was what you desired, Lauren Mitchell. Well done, you've achieved it. She savored her drink, composed and serene. Cease portraying yourself as the victim, James Walker. For years I have been cast aside, forgotten in the shadows of your attention. I deserve attention, Karen Brooks interjected. He has consistently exhibited a preoccupation with himself. Lauren Mitchell, you shall pursue your path as you see fit. I will stand by you. That was the moment. As I surveyed the table, my gaze fell upon my parents' horrified expressions, Lauren Mitchell's triumphant smirk, and Karen Brooks's self-satisfied nod, and in that moment, I lost control. Very well, relish in your transparency. I have reached my conclusion. I strode forward, dismissing my mother's objections, paying no heed to the stunned silence that enveloped the others. The soft jingle of my car keys echoed in my pocket as I embarked on my journey into the night. Rage coursed through my veins, intertwining with a nauseating feeling of treachery. She transformed our anniversary into a spectacle of embarrassment. She desired my presence as she engaged with other men. Absolutely not. That evening, I chose not to return home. I found myself resting in my car, parked in an unremarkable lot, my mind a tempest of fury and bewilderment. With the first light of dawn, I had come to a resolution. I found myself in the process of filing for divorce. If she desired an open marriage, she could pursue it independently. The following morning, I reached out to my lawyer, an old friend by the name of Brian Cooper. I want out, I said, my voice still hoarse from the sleepless nights. She brought me to shame before my family, declaring her desire for multiple lovers. I have reached my limit. With a heavy sigh, he released the weight of his thoughts. That sounds challenging, my friend. Let us commence the paperwork process. Are you certain you wouldn't prefer to discuss it beforehand? Shall we converse? I almost found myself chuckling. At a family dinner, she caught me completely off guard. She believes she is capable of achieving more. Allow her the opportunity to give it a go. We engaged in a conversation about assets. We possessed a home, shared finances, and a beloved daughter, Lily Brooks, who was presently pursuing her studies in college. At the age of 19, she found herself residing on campus. My thoughts spiraled as I considered how Lily Brooks would react to the news of her mother's breakdown. For the moment, my attention was directed towards the legal perspective. In the interim, Lauren Mitchell's messages flooded my phone, brimming with a blend of haughtiness and fury. You fled like a frightened soul. Ordinary. If you truly cared for me, you would grasp the depths of my desires. Think twice before you consider filing for divorce. You may come to regret that decision. I turned a blind eye to their messages, allowing my phone to vibrate relentlessly until it finally succumbed to silence. She issued a threat to dismantle my social standing, yet I questioned whether she possessed any genuine influence beyond Karen Brooks's interference. On the third day, I stopped by the house to collect some clothes. She stood there, poised and expectant, alongside her mother. Karen Brooks crossed her arms, her gaze sharp and unyielding. Behold, the one who has chosen to return. Lauren Mitchell rested against the wall, her manicured nails tapping a rhythmic pattern. Have you finished sulking? With a sulky demeanor, I reiterated, my tone icy. I have reached my limit with you, Lauren Mitchell. I'm filing for divorce, she said with a scoff. Is it too much to ask for a taste of freedom? Mature, Karen Brooks urged. He has consistently exhibited a certain rigidity, my dear. Rest assured we will take care of him. I felt a surge of indignation. Indeed, that won't be the case. I am departing, and I swear, should you attempt anything, I will see you in court. With a sly smirk, Lauren Mitchell crossed her arms beneath her chest. Do you believe you can intimidate me? This is our home as well. Both of us contributed financially to it. I chose not to respond to that. I strode purposefully to the bedroom, seized my suitcase, and exited with determination. Karen Brooks's voice echoed behind me, calling out with urgency. She never received the love that was rightfully hers. This is a consequence of your actions. I chose not to glance behind me. Weeks drifted by, an excruciating suspension filled with legal documents and suppressed rage. Lauren Mitchell shared snapshots of her night out at the club, entwined with men whose appearances raised eyebrows. Karen Brooks boasted to her neighbors that her daughter had finally liberated herself from that overbearing fool. My parents were utterly humiliated. My father advised me against lowering myself to their level, and I endeavored to heed his counsel. Yet within, I simmered with rage. Lauren Mitchell had transformed a once affectionate union into a dramatic display. I was acutely aware of my imperfections. I toiled excessively, often failing to be fully present. Yet, regardless of how many times I revisited the moment, her declaration proclaiming her desire for other men pierced me like a dagger in the back. Our daughter, Lily Brooks, reached out to me from college, her voice tinged with confusion. Dad, Mom mentioned that you're separating from her because she wanted to broaden your horizons? She's portraying you as the villain in this narrative. I let out a weary sigh, my fingers gently massaging my temples. Lily Brooks, your mother caught me off guard in front of everyone, insisting on an open marriage. That holds no appeal for me. She released a measured breath, the air escaping her lips like a whispered secret. How peculiar. She never alluded to that in my presence. Are you certain you can't find it in your heart to forgive her? My voice became piercing. Should I forgive her for the humiliation she caused me? For her insistence that she'll be unfaithful and that I should simply come to terms with it? Lily Brooks paused, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. I remain neutral in this, Dad. I sincerely wish for you to approach it with a sense of calmness. Mother is allowing Grandma Karen Brooks to build up the excitement. I tightened my jaw. Karen Brooks's interference was detrimental. Refrain from getting involved, Lily Brooks. Concentrate on your studies. This matter lies solely between your mother and me. Lily Brooks paused, her voice barely above a whisper as she replied, All right, Dad. Just be careful not to make any choices you'll look back on with regret. After we ended the call, I sought refuge in my tasks, attempting to lose myself in the rhythm of productivity. The nights melded seamlessly into one another, while each passing day brought me nearer to the conclusion of my divorce. I refused to be bound by the dark whims of Lauren Mitchell's imagination. A defining moment arrived when my lawyer inquired whether I had any grounds to suspect infidelity before her announcement of an open marriage. I confessed that while I lacked concrete proof, I felt certain that something was amiss. Her eagerness had been palpable, a rush that came on too swiftly, yet it seemed of little consequence. We resided in a state where divorce could occur without assigning blame. Her treachery would only sway the negotiations if I chose to play the game with underhanded tactics. I was not above resorting to underhanded tactics. I wished to retain my portion of what I had rightfully earned. As the legal machinery churned on, I stumbled upon something unexpected. Lauren Mitchell and Karen Brooks wove a narrative suggesting that I had forsaken her, painting me as perpetually emotionally abusive and controlling, as if I had denied Lauren Mitchell the chance to truly live. She maintained that her request for an open marriage stemmed from a sense of entrapment and a lack of love. A few neighbors held a belief in her. Some cast skeptical glances. My parents were incensed. On a quiet evening, I discovered Lauren Mitchell standing patiently outside my parents' house. She strode toward me, her eyes aflame with intensity. "Sign these settlement papers," she insisted, thrusting them toward me with a forceful gesture. I examined them closely. She sought a share of the house, a portion of my savings, and ongoing spousal support each month. "You've completely lost your senses," I remarked. "Our mortgage balance is dwindling down to a mere fraction. What justifies your claim to half of my savings?" "I earned the majority of that," she flicked her hair back. "You compelled me into a lifeless union. At this moment, I find myself yearning for a fresh start. My mother insists that I am entitled to some form of recompense." I let out a bitter laugh. "Are you looking to explore casual connections? So, you expect me to cover the expenses?" As if conjured from the very fabric of dreams, Karen Brooks emerged, stepping gracefully from the car. "Either you sign, or we will take this matter to court. You overlooked her. She offered you her all, yet you returned nothing in kind." I gazed, a fire of fury igniting within me. "Both of you are utterly mad." Lauren Mitchell's lips curled into a subtle smile. "You have always aspired to be the one in charge. Fulfill your obligations, or prepare to witness the disintegration of your good name." I thrust the papers toward her with a sense of finality. "I'll see you in court, Lauren Mitchell," she shot back, her glare fierce as she snatched them away. "Consider this a forewarning. Your actions are tarnishing the beauty of this situation." As I crossed the threshold, my heart raced with anticipation. My mother, having caught the conversation, gently rested her hand on my arm. "Maintain your composure, my boy. She's resorting to underhanded tactics." I compelled myself to nod. I refused to allow them to seize it all. I have toiled relentlessly. At last the day of the divorce hearing had come. Lauren Mitchell made her entrance in a sleek black dress, with Karen Brooks following closely behind her. My lawyer and I sat solemnly at a single table. She shared her tale of woe, detailing the neglect she endured, the hunger for affection that consumed her, and how she was ultimately pushed to contemplate an open marriage as a desperate measure. Karen Brooks supported her, labeling me as controlling and cruel. I clenched my jaw, teetering on the edge of fury, yet my lawyer maintained a calm demeanor, gently reminding the court that Lauren Mitchell's demands encompassed the act of humiliating me during a family gathering. That certainly did not bolster her narrative of despair. Ultimately, the judge decreed that we would sell the house, divide the proceeds, and bring the divorce to a close. I would provide a modest amount of spousal support for a brief duration, sufficient for Lauren Mitchell to regain her footing. I believed it exceeded her worth, yet at the very least, she wasn't claiming half of my life savings. Karen Brooks cast a scathing glance my way as we exited. Lauren Mitchell swept away with a flourish, deliberately avoiding any gaze. It ought to have reached its conclusion. We had reached the end, liberated from one another, yet fate had more convoluted theatrics awaiting us. Time slipped away, month by month. I settled into a quaint townhouse, adorned with only the essentials. My days unfolded in a serene rhythm. Work, gym, sleep. I turned my back on the very notion of dating. Lily Brooks made her visits infrequent, skillfully steering clear of any reference to Lauren Mitchell. It was clear she grappled with a profound affection for her mother, yet simultaneously felt a deep frustration with the decisions her mother had made. I refrained from probing. Suddenly a call arrived from an unfamiliar number. I responded and caught the tremulous, frantic tone of Lauren Mitchell's voice. "James Walker. I find myself in need of some financial assistance." A chill coursed through my veins. "Surely, you jest." Her voice took on a steely edge. It holds great significance. I seek assistance regarding a medical treatment. It is a sexually transmitted disease. She hesitated, her breath catching in her throat. Listen, I simply require some funds. The insurance will not cover the entirety of the expenses, and my mother is unable to manage the costs at this moment. I let out a dry, humorless laugh. Are you reaching out to me because your choices have led to an STD? Do you really believe I would part with my money for that? She broke. Please show kindness. One cannot overlook the high costs associated with these treatments. I acknowledge that I have made mistakes, all right? I failed to exercise the caution that was warranted. A tide of revulsion surged within me. So you share your bed with half the city, contract something, and now you think I should hand over money? Absolutely not. She elevated her voice. You are indebted to me. You abandoned me for years, compelling me to seek solace in other places. My fingers tightened around my phone, almost squeezing it to the point of destruction. I am not beholden to you. We have parted ways. The desire for freedom coursed through your veins. Absolutely, you've got it. Lauren Mitchell exhaled a shaky breath. Very well, observe my torment, you unfeeling wretch. I believed you possessed at least a fragment of decency. I let out a derisive laugh. What is decency? Is it akin to revealing your desire for an open marriage during our anniversary dinner? Such a level of decency? She paused, then ended the call. I remained rooted to the spot, my heart racing in my chest. How audacious of her! Did she truly believe I had erased the memory of her humiliation from my mind? That I would descend like a hero to rescue her from her dire situation? Not in this lifetime. Yet that was not the conclusion. The following day, she appeared at my townhouse door, unexpectedly. She appeared utterly drained, with deep shadows beneath her eyes and her hair in disarray. Karen Brooks lingered in the background, her arms crossed and her expression contorted with disdain. With a forceful rap, Lauren Mitchell struck the door. James Walker, open the door, she insisted. I eased the door open. What is it that you desire? She attempted to maneuver around me. Allow me entry. It is imperative that we engage in a conversation. I obstructed the entrance. Share your experience regarding your STD. I have already expressed my refusal, Karen Brooks interjected. You wretched creature, are you really unable to assist her when she's unwell? Your character leaves much to be desired. I clenched my jaw tightly. I refused to bear the burden of her errors. Lauren Mitchell's eyes brimmed with tears. How ironic, I mused. These tears are but a facade. Just let me inside, she whispered. I shall remain here until you take your leave. Exasperated, I swung the door wide open, retreating a step. In 5 minutes, make your exit. She entered, her gaze sweeping across the empty expanse of my living room. Karen Brooks trailed behind, her lips curling in disdain at the meager furnishings. Is this your home now? She uttered. Deplorable. I turned a blind eye to her. What is the pressing matter at hand? Lauren Mitchell's throat tightened as she averted her eyes. I received a positive diagnosis for a sexually transmitted infection. My insurance provides coverage for certain treatments, yet it does not encompass the entire course. The cost is quite high. My mother is unable to shoulder the entire financial burden. Karen Brooks let out a sharp hiss. He possesses the means to settle the debt. I gazed at them, filled with indignation. Do you expect me to cover the costs of your errors? Lauren Mitchell's cheeks turned a deep shade of crimson. I would not inquire unless the matter held significant weight. With my arms crossed, I stood there, a silent sentinel of my thoughts. Is that so? Is that the kind of public humiliation you subjected me to? To what extent did that matter? Her voice trembled. All right, I acknowledge my mistakes, but this concerns my well-being. Do not allow me to endure this pain. Karen Brooks extended a slender finger in my direction. You bear the responsibility for this. If you had truly embraced the role of a husband, she would not have looked elsewhere. A harsh laugh escaped my lips. You persist in reassuring yourself of that truth. It is time for both of you to leave. In an instant, Lauren Mitchell's tears vanished. Are you truly unwilling to assist? Not a single penny, I stated with unwavering resolve. Her eyes burned with intensity. This decision will haunt you. I have my reservations. I swung the door open, and they burst forth with a heavy tread. With a final frantic look cast behind her, Lauren Mitchell sought a glimmer of hope, yet I stood resolute, unwavering in my decision. She yearned for liberation. Her desire was fulfilled. On the subsequent morning, I received a call from Lily Brooks. I responded, anticipating a typical exchange, yet her tone was fraught with tension. "Father, it is imperative that you assist Mother." I pressed my fingers against the bridge of my nose. "Allow me to surmise, she confided in you about her STD woes?" With a heavy heart, Lily Brooks let out a soft sigh. "Indeed, the situation has deteriorated. She mentioned that there could be another concern. She is expecting a child." A peculiar numbness enveloped me. "Expecting?" "Indeed," Lily Brooks remarked. "She asserts that it may belong to you." I erupted in laughter, a chilling, joyless echo. "Is it mine? That is beyond the realm of possibility." Lily Brooks's voice ascended. "She firmly believes that you were intimate at some stage while you were apart." I severed ties with her. "We did not. Even if we had, I underwent a vasectomy years ago. So that child certainly isn't mine." Stillness. Then a gentle, "What? Is this from Lily Brooks?" I shrugged, though she remained oblivious to the gesture. "That decision was made some time ago, long before this turmoil unfolded. Lauren Mitchell remains unaware, as we have been slowly drifting apart. I kept it to myself, but I underwent a vasectomy after your arrival. If she is indeed expecting, then I am not the one who fathered the child." Lily Brooks drew in a sharp breath. "Father, are you certain?" "Indeed," I asserted with conviction. "All the paperwork is in order. The tests are completed. Everything is accounted for. It cannot revert by itself. She is either deceiving herself or living in a fantasy." Lily Brooks released a tremulous breath. Then she said, "Dad, she's losing it. She insists that you must return to her, claiming that you owe her this much. She continues to assert that the baby belongs to you." A surge of rage coursed through my veins. "She may assert her position as fervently as she desires. I am aware of the reality." Lily Brooks uttered a murmur that was lost in the air, its meaning slipping away like a whisper in the wind. "So, you're not offering her any assistance whatsoever?" A grimace crossed my face. "Lily Brooks has brought me to my knees, insisting on an open marriage, burdening me with a labyrinth of legal troubles, and now she asserts that a child is mine when I know it is not. She is seeking financial assistance for an STD? That responsibility lies with her. I care for you, my dear, but I refuse to be swayed." Lily Brooks's voice quivered with emotion. "I have no intention of influencing you in any way. I simply wish to prevent Mom from descending further into despair." I shut my eyes. "That is her decision. I have reached my limit. Allow her to witness that the journey she chose brings forth repercussions." Lily Brooks fought to suppress her tears. "Once you two radiated joy. Now, it feels as though you've become mere strangers." A sharp twinge of regret washed over me. At times, individuals undergo transformation. "I regret to inform you, Lily Brooks, that I am unable to rectify her situation." She inhaled sharply. "I comprehend. Perhaps it would be wise to refrain from slamming the door if she is genuinely in a state of desperation." I remained silent. Following a brief silence, Lily Brooks bid farewell, and we ended the call. My fury ignited at Lauren Mitchell's ludicrous assertion. She carried a child, yearning for my return, seeking my support for her medical expenses, hoping I could mend it all. For years I had been cast as the villain in her story, yet now the tides had turned, and she found herself in need of my presence. What a pity, I mused. Once more, under the cloak of night, Lauren Mitchell arrived, solitary. Karen Brooks. Let's keep it simple and straightforward. There she was, alone in the chill, poised outside my townhouse. "We need to talk," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I nearly slammed the door in her face, yet an insatiable curiosity tugged at me. "Concerning what matter? Yet another attempt at extortion?" She nibbled at her lip. "I am expecting a child." I raised an eyebrow in curiosity. "Indeed, that has come to my attention." She drew in a breath, sharp and sudden. "It belongs to you." A malicious smile crept across my face. "Best of luck with that." Her voice trembled. "James Walker, we shared a few moments together before our paths diverged. Do you recall? Do you not remember at all? Perhaps it was meant to unfold at that moment." I have meticulously tallied the weeks. I severed our connection. After Lily Brooks, I underwent a vasectomy, so your statement is false. For a fleeting moment, she appeared taken aback, but then she regained her composure. That cannot be done. How could you possibly withhold that from me? I shrugged, feigning indifference. I found no reason to disclose it. We found ourselves drifting apart. If you were genuinely carrying my child, it would have occurred long ago. Yet, now, there lies no opportunity. Her lip quivered. You are not being truthful. Demonstrate the evidence. I shot a piercing glare. I am not indebted to you in any way. Kindly leave my porch, please. Her eyes brimmed with tears. James Walker, I feel a sense of fear creeping in. I have a sexually transmitted disease. I am expecting a child. My mother struggles to make ends meet, unable to cover all her expenses. And now you're asserting that you could never be the father. Are you aware of the implications that holds for me? I crossed my arms. It signifies that you are carrying another man's child. Your mistake is not my concern. She released a shattered sob. It all stems from your neglect of me. I stumbled along the way, yet it was your actions that guided me to that place. I attempted to engage you in conversation, yet you seemed perpetually occupied, consistently overlooking my presence. If only you had loved me, none of this would have come to pass. A flicker of remorse awakened within. Perhaps I had overlooked her needs. Yet, that did not excuse her behavior in this moment. You brought me to shame on our anniversary, insisting that I permit you to share my heart with other men. Please, Lauren Mitchell, don't place that blame on me. A decision was made. Her tears continued to cascade down her cheeks. Once more you are choosing to leave me behind. Your heart seems to be made of stone. I gestured toward the street. Depart. I am not here to rescue you. Seek out the true father of your child. Perhaps he will cover the costs of your treatments. She gently shook her head, tears cascading onto her blouse. My feelings towards you, James Walker, are far from positive. Of course you do, I remarked, keeping the door ajar. It is time for you to leave. She finally averted her gaze, her shoulders trembling as she rushed down the path. I secured the door, my chest constricted with unease. A part of me reveled in the dark satisfaction of witnessing her unravel. Another part experienced a wave of nausea. Once we had shared a love that felt boundless, but now she found herself in a state of desperation. And I found myself cast as the frigid antagonist. Perhaps that was the way it was destined to unfold. Days later, Karen Brooks cornered me in a supermarket aisle, her words a sharp whisper of accusations. You wretched being, Lauren Mitchell is bearing your child, yet you choose not to assist her. Would you really allow her to endure the pain of an STD without any financial support? I seized a box of cereal, brushing aside the curious gazes of fellow shoppers. That child is not mine, Karen Brooks. Inquire with your beloved daughter regarding the gentlemen who have crossed her path. She thrust her finger into my chest. You are not being truthful. She revealed it all to me. The two of you shared a final night of slumber, a tender moment before your departure. The child belongs to you. You are merely fleeing. My anger ignited within me. I underwent a vasectomy. She never shared that detail with you, did she? The individual who sired that child is not me. Karen Brooks blinked, momentarily disoriented. A deep sigh escaped my lips. Indeed, she is not telling the truth. Avoid being pulled into their chaos, Lily Brooks. Concentrate on your existence. Her voice trembled, teetering on the brink of sorrow. I long for a reality where none of this unfolds. Mother weeps incessantly. Grandma is seething with anger. You are isolating yourself from those around you. I find myself ensnared in a liminal space. I became more gentle. I apologize, Lily Brooks. Yet, your mother has crafted her own resting place. That is beyond my ability to rectify. She is not in a position to hold me accountable for her unwise decisions. Should she find herself facing an STD and the prospect of a baby, it is imperative that she takes charge of the situation on her own. Lily Brooks let out a soft whimper. Father, she is my mother. I cannot simply stand by and witness her unraveling. A dull ache pulsed relentlessly behind my eyes. I understand. However, I shall refrain from stepping in. I am free from any obligation. In every sense, I have reached my limit. She let out a soft sniffle. Indeed, my love for you, Dad, knows no bounds. My affection for you is equally strong, Lily Brooks. As the call concluded, I found myself gazing at the wall, grappling with a heavy sense of guilt. Yet, I found solace in the fact that Lauren Mitchell had indeed traversed every boundary. Her mother had stoked the flames of her arrogance, and now they were facing the repercussions. Several days later, Lauren Mitchell sent me a message filled with drama. I find myself unwell. The possibility of losing the baby looms over me if I don't receive more effective treatment. James Walker, I implore you, do not allow this to unfold. I found myself revisiting it multiple times, an unexpected weight settling in my chest. Even if the child wasn't mine, a precious life could be lost due to a lack of access to proper care. Was that genuinely my obligation? Every fiber of my being resisted the idea of allowing an innocent soul to endure the consequences of Lauren Mitchell's transgressions. Yet, in a logical sense, it wasn't my child. She possessed no entitlement over me. I crafted a brief response. This child does not belong to me. That doesn't concern me. Her reply erupted in a storm of expletives. Your nature is malevolent. Your reckoning is at hand. I powered down my phone, choosing to withdraw from the conversation. On a cold, crisp evening, I arrived home from work to discover Lauren Mitchell huddled on the doorstep, trembling from the chill. Her complexion was wan, and fatigue clung to her like a heavy shroud. Initially, I felt compelled to step over her, yet a flicker of worry halted my movement. Lauren Mitchell, what brings you to this place? She lifted her gaze, her lips chapped and worn. There is no other place for me to turn. Mother had to depart from the town to address a relative's urgent situation. In solitude, I find myself grappling with financial constraints, and my health is not at its best, a burning sensation coursing through the body. In just 2 days, I have my next appointment, yet the thought of affording a motel feels like a distant dream. I tighten my jaw. Did you really think it was a good idea to set up camp right on my doorstep? She offered a feeble shrug. I found myself with no other options. The father, whoever he may be, remains silent to my calls. A surge of compassion welled within me, yet I stifled it resolutely. Surely you have companions, don't you? All those gentlemen you engaged with in playful banter? She released a laugh that echoed emptily before it morphed into a cough. They disappear just when you require genuine assistance. I gazed at the moonlight, releasing a breath. The former version of myself would have ushered her in, draping a blanket around her shoulders. Yet, we had moved beyond that. She had cast me as the antagonist, shattered our existence, and then insisted that I mend the chaos that ensued. You can't stay here, I stated with a flat tone. Her eyes grew wide with a surge of panic. Would you truly abandon me in this place? I have news, James Walker. I'm expecting a baby. Illness threatened to shake my determination. Yet I found myself haunted by the countless humiliations she had inflicted upon me, declaring to my family her desires for other men, ridiculing me, and relentlessly demanding money. Indeed, I uttered it with a chill in my voice. It is time to rise. She trembled. I find myself on the brink of collapse. I reach for my phone. I shall summon a cab for you. She recoiled. Financial constraints prevent me from affording it. I interrupted, addressing your issue directly. You stubbornly remain, unwilling to depart on your own accord. I will contact the authorities. Her visage contorted in anguish. You cold-hearted fiend, may you suffer endlessly. I gestured with a flick of my hand, then crossed the threshold. Be well. With a cry of exasperation, she finally turned and staggered off, weaving her way down the street. I closed the door behind me, my heart racing in my chest. A tempest of remorse and liberation clashed within my heart. I had turned my back on a pregnant, ailing woman, someone I had once cherished deeply. Yet she was undeniably the same individual who had brought me to my knees, who had pressed for an open marriage, who had sought financial support for her own self-created dilemmas. My compassion was constrained. 2 weeks later, the ultimate strike was delivered. A summons arrived in my mailbox. Lauren Mitchell insisted on a paternity test, asserting that I was the father. Her desire was for child support. My attorney chuckled when I presented him with the evidence of my vasectomy. She is clutching at fleeting hopes, he remarked. Present the court with your medical records. That is all. Thus we proceeded. We proceeded with the paternity test regardless. allowing the court to witness the negative outcome and presented evidence of my vasectomy. Lauren Mitchell's assertion fell apart. The judge reprimanded her for squandering the court's valuable time. Her expression was one of utter despair, her body shaking as the outcome was announced. Karen Brooks, positioned behind her, shot me a look that could pierce through steel. Outside, she faced me, tears glistening in her eyes, her voice heavy with animosity. "You have always yearned to exact your retribution upon me, haven't you? Now you have what you desired," I replied with a shrug. "You inflicted punishment upon yourself." Karen Brooks unleashed a sharp spit. "May tranquility forever elude you. You shattered her existence." I gazed, unwavering. She was the one who shattered ours first. Do not hold me accountable for her impulsive choices. Lauren Mitchell staggered backward, her hand instinctively clutching her abdomen. "I can hardly fathom that you would take such a step. Once, my heart was yours." I gently shook my head, a silent gesture of disbelief. "My feelings for you, Lauren Mitchell, were equally profound. Yet, you discarded it the instant you declared your desire for an open marriage." Her eyes sparkled with a captivating light. "Yet, you never inquired as to the reason. Your indifference was palpable." "I cared," I declared, a sharp edge to my voice. "Yet, I find myself at an end." "Advance forward." She parted her lips, only to seal them once more, as tears cascaded down her cheeks. With a final anguished sob, she averted her gaze. Karen Brooks hurried to her aid, casting me one final, seething look. I departed, each footfall weighing down upon me more than the one before, yet imbued with an unexpected sense of freedom. Our journey had come to an end, truly complete, with all illusions stripped away. If I am to be cast as the villain, then let it be so. Within her, a new life stirred. The father, a mystery, an STD in need of treatment, and no financial support from me. A wave of relief washed over me, freeing me from the grip of her tumultuous world. That evening, my daughter called, her voice quivering with emotion. "Father, I learned about the examination. Mother is in a state of hysteria. Your name is the subject of Grandma's ire. Are you doing all right?" I released a sigh. "I'm doing well, Lily Brooks. The end has come. I am not the father. There is nothing more to express." She gulped. "Indeed, it seems that way." I endeavored to soften. "I regret that this situation has unfolded. Your affection for your mother is evident." She let out a soft sniffle. "I do. Yet I find myself unable to defend her any longer. She deceived me, attempting to convince me that you were the villain. I find myself feeling quite upset with her, Dad." I shut my eyes. "There is no need to choose a side. She remains your mother." Lily Brooks exhaled a tremulous breath. "While I understand, I cannot condone her behavior. She has lost it all. I worry that she might find herself all alone in the end." There was no reassuring response to be found. "That is a puzzle for her to unravel. Perhaps this experience will serve as a lesson for her." With a gentle farewell, Lily Brooks departed, and thus concluded the moment. Weeks later, whispers from mutual acquaintances reached me, revealing that Lauren Mitchell had departed the city, presumably in pursuit of a new beginning. She welcomed new life in a distant hospital. The infant emerged from the ordeal, yet whispers circulated that Lauren Mitchell's STD had added layers of complexity to the situation. She declined to reveal the identity of the father, and in due course, Karen Brooks chose to pursue her. They vanished from my life, and I never sought to reconnect. Occasionally, our daughter would reference her mother, yet the details were always sparse. I presume that Karen Brooks continued to vent her frustrations about me, attributing all the blame to my actions. Perhaps Lauren Mitchell continued to weave tales of woe regarding my perceived neglect of her. I had come to terms with my position as the antagonist in their narrative. Yet, that was the ultimate, sobering reality. She attempted to assert that I was the father of her child, sought financial compensation for an STD, and anticipated my salvation after having dismantled my sense of dignity. Life was not a melodrama, where I would return in desperation. It dawned on her, but only after the moment had slipped away. There I was, perched on my porch as the evening unfolded, my eyes fixed on the sunset, a sense of grim satisfaction washing over me. I had come to understand a difficult truth about relationships, the nature of trust, and the way love can swiftly morph into something unrecognizable and painful. Lauren Mitchell had fulfilled her role, while Karen Brooks had stoked her pride, and I had transformed into the distant, wrathful husband who would not rescue her when her dreams crumbled. Some may label me as heartless, while others might contend that I simply enacted poetic justice. Ultimately, both perspectives held no significance. What truly mattered was that I had liberated myself from her manipulations. She sought an open marriage, embracing her freedom, yet found herself burdened with diseases, an unknown father for her child, and a dwindling bank account. As I crossed the threshold of my modest townhouse and secured the door behind me, an unexpected tranquility enveloped me. My existence unfolded in a serene manner, occasionally tinged with solitude, yet always grounded in authenticity. I would prefer solitude over being bound to a harmful illusion. If that meant I would eternally play the role of the antagonist in her narrative, then so be it. The truth was known to me. I had once cherished her, yet she opted for a different journey. Now she had to traverse this path alone, and should she ever attempt to return, begging for money and asserting connections that were mere fabrications, I would respond as I had in the past by laughing at the ridiculousness of it all and firmly shutting the door in her face. I too have made my choice, and there is no turning back for me.